It all started when my friends and I decided to go camping in the forest. We had heard that the area was secluded and untouched by civilization, and we were excited to experience the great outdoors. We packed our bags, set up our tents, and settled in for the night. But as soon as the sun went down, things started to take a turn for the worse. We started hearing strange noises coming from the woods, and we couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being watched. We tried to brush it off as just our imagination, but the noises only seemed to get louder and more persistent. As the night went on, the temperature dropped dramatically, and we started to see strange shadows moving through the trees. We huddled around the fire, trying to stay warm, but we couldn't shake off the feeling that something was out there, lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, one of my friends disappeared. We searched the woods for hours, calling his name and shining our flashlights, but there was no sign of him. We were terrified, and we knew we had to get out of there. But as we were packing up our things, we heard a strange rustling in the bushes. We froze, and before we knew it, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was our missing friend, but he was different. His eyes were wide and wild, and he was covered in blood. We didn't know what to do, so we ran. We left our camping gear and our friend behind, and we never looked back. As we were running, we could hear the sound of footsteps behind us, getting closer and closer. We could hear the sound of leaves rustling, twigs snapping, and the sound of breath in our ears. We were running as fast as we could, but it felt like the spirits were closing in on us. We could see the faint glow of their eyes in the darkness, and we knew that we had to keep moving. We stumbled upon an old cabin in the woods, and we decided to take shelter there. We barricaded the doors and windows, and we tried to catch our breath. But as soon as we settled in, we started to hear strange noises coming from outside. We could hear scratching on the walls and whispering voices in our ears. We knew that we couldn't stay there for long. We had to keep moving. We decided to leave the cabin and make a run for it. But as soon as we stepped out, we were surrounded by the spirits. They were everywhere, their ghostly forms appearing and disappearing in the darkness. We could see the anger and hatred in their eyes, and we knew that we were in grave danger. We were running through the woods, trying to find a way out, but it felt like we were going in circles. The spirits were closing in on us, and we knew that we had to find a way to escape. We stumbled upon an old abandoned mine, and we decided to take shelter there. We climbed down the mine, trying to put as much distance between us and the spirits as possible. But as soon as we reached the bottom, we realized that we had made a grave mistake. The mine was crawling with spirits, and they were everywhere. We could see their ghostly forms in the shadows, and we knew that we were trapped. We were trapped in the mine for what felt like hours, trying to find a way out. But every time we thought we had found an exit, it would turn out to be a dead end. We were running out of options, and we knew that our time was running out. As we were making our way through the mine, strange things started to happen. We would hear strange whispers and see ghostly apparitions flitting through the shadows. We could feel a cold breeze, even though there was no wind. And worst of all, we started to feel like we were being followed. We could hear the sound of footsteps behind us, but when we turned around, no one was there. We started to feel like we were being watched, and we knew that we had to keep moving. Finally, we found a way out, and we were able to escape the mine. We were covered in dirt and sweat, and our hearts were racing. We ran through the woods, not looking back until we reached our car. We got in and we drove as fast as we could, not stopping until we were miles away from the woods. Years later, I found out that the forest we had camped in was known for being haunted by the spirits of the Native Americans who had been driven out by settlers. The spirits were said to be angry and vengeful, and they were known to lure unsuspecting campers into the woods, never to be seen again. We never spoke of that night again, but the memory of it haunted us for years to come. We knew that we were lucky to have escaped, but we couldn't shake off the feeling that the spirits were still out there, waiting for their next victims. Moral of the story is, be careful when camping in the forest. You never know what kind of spirits you might wake up. And never trust an abandoned mine or cabin, it might lead you to your grave. And never ignore the strange noises and whisper, it might be the last thing you will hear.